paying any high interest loans. Standing power tax, BAS, business tax. Thing that I've done over and over and over again. Set expectations early on. Number 3, and I think this one's very important. And if you're accepting it for one staff member, then the other staff members will think that that's acceptable. Forget to wake up and smell the roses. So, once your business... And good afternoon to this week's vlog. I thought I would do something a little bit different this week and try and give back a little bit of value rather than just showing a week in the life. I thought, I'm coming up to close to 15 years, I think 14 and a half years of being self-employed and being in business. So I thought I'd give you my top 10 things that I've learned over the last 15 years. They're not all going to be necessarily relevant to you, but I would hope that out of the 10 some people can grab some value and pick and choose what parts they can grab value from. So I would say my number 1 thing that I've learned in business is there is never a right time to start a business, to do what you're going to do, to start going to the gym, to start playing a sport, to do anything. The best time is now. I find that the biggest difference of people that I've met who are successful, or who I deem to be successful, and myself, is that I never wait on things. If I want to start a business or I want to do something, I just do it now. And the amount of people that I have come up to me and ask me for advice about business, when they should do it, it's never the right time. And I always say the same thing, is the biggest entry to barrier for most people is actually just starting out. If you want to start a business, there's legitimately nothing stopping you nowadays, particularly in Australia. We have YouTube where you can learn any given skill or talent very fast and very effective. You've got AI that's come in that can help you set up websites. There is legitimately no excuse to start now. Okay, point number 2 is I've always been very intentional with who I surround myself with. I think if you surround yourself with a group of people that don't potentially think like you, don't potentially want to grow and expand, then you're probably most likely to follow that suit. If you hang around 4 smokers, you're probably likely to be the 5th. My friendship group and who I've hung out with has definitely helped me, pushed me along, put me into networks that I wouldn't have otherwise been in. Hang around people that push, inspire you, make you be a better person, a better husband, a better father. And don't be scared to move on from people that aren't necessarily bringing out good in your life. Don't be scared to make change. Number 3, and I think this one's very important, and is probably, aside from actually starting a business or doing something that you say you're going to do, the number 3 is the most important, which I think is consistency. Doing what you're saying, or doing what you say you're going to do, and then doing it consistently. The amount of people that I hear say they're going to do something and then don't do it, or say they're going to do something and then don't do it consistently because they don't get results quick enough. An example was, I remember when I think I was 19 or 20, and I started working out at a printing company called Magnify Media, and I thought my brother was in sales, and I thought I was a bit of a hot shot, and I could easily do sales because I didn't want to work in the manufacturing side anymore. I didn't want to do the hard work, I just wanted to go out and live the life of a sales rep. And my boss was like, okay, off you go do it. I'm not going to help you. If you think you can do it, go do it. So anyway, I went out and he threw me right in the deep end, and it was sort of a new business role, new business development role. And for 6 months, to my credit, I did plug away and worked away at cold leads and really made a lot of phone calls and followed them up. And I think after about 4 or 5 months, I started getting doubts. And I think after 6 months, I gave up. Now in that 7th month, after I gave up and went back to my production manufacturing role, what do you know? All those cold leads, all the work that I put in for the last 6 months started coming through. And that comes through just remaining consistent regardless of the result. I think too many people nowadays want instant gratification. They want instant results. They want the money straight away. And no one's willing to put in the hard yards and sacrifice of what it takes to be successful in business. Unfortunately, it does take time. I've been grinding it out for 15 years before I could really carve out a really comfortable lifestyle. But it took a long time. All right, guys, tip number 4. Unfortunately, I had to learn this one the hard way, but one of the most important things when starting up a business and you're actually starting to turn profit, understanding how tax, BAS, business tax, luxury tax, fringe benefits tax, all works. So the number one thing with this is, firstly, get a good accountant and pay for it, because a good accountant will be worth the money and they will save you up to millions in the end. Luckily enough for me, I've been working with Dave as a party at AD Partners since I think I was about 20, so maybe for the last 20 years, but he has definitely changed the direction of which I've grown. I think setting up the companies right, the structures right, self-managed super funds, trust funds, company structures, discretionary trusts, unit trusts, just understanding and getting that set up right from the start can save you a lot of headaches later on. And I think in my case with income paper, for instance, I sort of learned as I went along. So, I sort of thought the business makes 100,000 and then the company pays tax and that's kind of it. But no, that's not how it works. So over, I think, a 10-year period or something, my business partner at the time and I were running Ink on Paper, and it was doing very well and it was very successful. But, we were just willy-nilly spending money any way we wanted. And when I later sold that company, my accountant let me know that there was still $800,000 that needed to be allocated to both myself and my ex-business partner. Someone had to pay tax on that. Now, I wasn't even aware of this, that when you have owner drawings, when I was allocating these spendings in Xero to owner drawings, it was basically just sitting in an account, but hadn't actually been allocated to anyone personally. So, that after I sold the company, those $800,000 got split, and we took $400K in each on top of whatever we had earned that year as well. And I think I got, and this was not long ago, mind you, but maybe like, 4 or 5 years ago, I got a tax bill of $180,000 on top of all the tax I already owned. So, had I've understood tax a bit better, I think that wouldn't have been an issue. So number 4, understand tax, pay your tax on time, don't go into ATO plans, avoid it at all costs. This also leads to being bankable. Now, banks will not lend to you if you have ATO debt, if there's a clear pattern of you not paying it, not lodging it on time. Lodge or get a good accountant, make sure that and follow up. If your accountant is not doing it, make sure that you follow up. Don't just leave it to your accountant. Follow up and make sure that your BAS is getting lodged on time. Have regular meetings with your accountant in understanding what your tax looks like, not only this year, but the following years. Understand how self-managed super fund works. Understand how loaning from a trust to a company works. Just try and learn as much as you can. Be a sponge, because the tax is a very, very important part of business. Tip number 5. I think when I reflect back on my last 20 years in business, one thing that I've done consistently over 20 years is continually taking risks. I do think that there is a level to everyone's risk appetite, and I certainly don't think that everyone should be taking the same amount of risks that I've perhaps taken. Everyone should stay within where they're comfortable, but at the same time, you also do need to push yourself. And so when I reflect back on my last 20 years of business, one thing that I've done over and over and over again is continually take risks and understand calculated risks, understand that not all risks are going to pay off, but also understand that if you fail, that's a learning experience and that's not a failure. Failing is learning. And so I would definitely encourage everyone, regardless of how big or small the risk is, but to take a risk, put yourself out there, do the thing that you're too scared to do, try it. There's really no disadvantage of trying and failing. I think the faster you can take risks and the quicker that you can fail will be what determines how quickly you succeed. So quick failures, quicker success. That's a great way of sort of looking at risk and how to navigate your way through it. The more risk you take, the more likely you are to fail. The more you fail, the more likely you are to succeed. Number 6. Now, when you're starting out a business, it's often easier to start it with someone. You obviously have double support. You're both going through the same thing together, and it's definitely not as daunting. So in my case, I started ink on paper, and it was scary to start it on my own. So I got in my first business partner, and now when I reflect back at our business partnership, we were in business for 10 years together. We probably turned over close to $15 million. And when we split, I certainly didn't think that it was a success, but now, 5-10 years down the track, it was one of the best business partnerships ever. We built something from absolutely nothing. We both came from nothing, and we exited. And when we exited, we both were in a much better position. So I think the biggest thing I learned about business partnerships is when I first got into business partnership, with the first partnership and the second partnership, to be honest, I sort of thought it was like, that's it, we're in it together forever and we're going to do everything together. And I think that wasn't the only thing that led to its detriment, but I think just putting all your eggs in one basket and not fully understanding that everything has a season, and you're essentially teaming up with someone to get a business to a point, and then it's totally okay for you to go different ways. Human nature over time will take two business partnerships in two different directions, and that's totally fine. My advice would be is to try and have as much clear, open communication and set expectations early on. Talk about exit strategies. Don't feel that you have to be in business together forever. You guys might want to get to a certain achievement and then go do your own things. You might want to go to a certain point and try another business out. Business partnerships are great. You just need to communicate constantly, because regardless of how close you are, you may be best friends, you may be brother and sister, there will be tension, there will be frustration. Partners get involved and it makes things complicated, but they definitely can work. The key to it is to communicate. All right, number 7 is good staff. Over the years, I have definitely noticed a difference within the business when I'm surrounded by really exceptional staff. And then I've also certainly noticed times where I've held on to staff, potentially persisted with staff that haven't been the right fit from the group, but I've kind of known it for the whole time, but I've just continued to persist with it. And then it obviously comes a time where I've made a change and I make a massive difference. So what it's taught me to do is be more specific with staff, and if your gut feel is that it's not going to be the right staff member or it's not going to work out, it's better to pull the band-aid off sooner rather than later, and surround yourself with staff who, one, fully believe in the vision that you want to do, believe in the business, and work hard to sort of come together as work towards the group's goal, essentially, and be a team player. If you have a bad egg in the basket, it can bring down the whole company, because you're essentially accepting mediocrity, and if you're accepting it for one staff member, then the other staff members will think that that's acceptable. So number 7 is be very intentional with staff. Surround your staff with staff that are exceptional, that you believe in, and that you can see yourself achieving goals with. Number 8, picking a partner or a wife or girlfriend, whatever, is crucial to your success and your business success. Over the years, I've had, over the 15, 16 year span, I've had 2 or 3 different long-term partners, and being with at least my wife for the last 9 years has changed my whole business growth, my whole development, how fast I would have achieved it. She believes in me, believes in my vision, has my back 100%, is never fighting against me, and has been my number 1 supporter. And the difference that I've noticed in having a partnership like that as opposed to earlier relationships has been worlds apart. It's made my life so much easier to pursue the things that I want to do, and essentially we operate together as a team. So anything I've achieved within my businesses is an achievement achieved between both of us, because without her, there is no way that I could be where I am today. She definitely excels me, she supports me. She has her own career in her own right, but she's very supportive of the direction I'm sort of heading, and long-term goals that we both want to achieve together, and being in business is a part of that. So if you have, my advice to you is that if you're single and you're going into a partnership and you're in business, be very selective and be open and upfront about your business desires, what you want to achieve, and do it together. So it's very important to have a supportive partner. Sorry, this is my son. That's number 8. Okay, number 9 is good debt and bad debt. I've certainly over my time had a fair share of bad debt, but thankfully at 40 I understand the difference between good and bad debt. So I think the main thing here is trying to stay away from credit cards, paying any high interest loans, risky loans. The whole purpose of having really good books and having a really profitable business is that you're bankable. And the only way that you're going to be bankable is by not having bad debts. Don't go on ATO tax plans, don't have credit cards, don't get into any high risk, high interest agreements with any institutions, particularly if it's not a big 4 bank. Be very mindful of credit cards and getting out of control, increasing limits, and try your best to stay within the limits. Again, one of the main goals for having a good profitable business is that you're bankable and that you can grow further because your business is bankable and they'll lend you money. All right, lucky last, number 10. This one for me is a very important one. Obviously, I'm big into lifestyle, and I think too many people forget to wake up and smell the roses. So, once your business is starting to be successful, or even when it's not, even when you're grinding, I think it's just as important to sort of, even if it's taking a day, doing something for yourself, rewarding the small wins. Whilst the grind is important, I also think that sort of taking out time and celebrating small wins, but also when you become more established, I feel like people just sometimes get into the habit of this constantly grinding. But your kids are only young once. If you're lucky enough to be married, your partner's going to be around forever. So my thing is just actually taking the time to enjoy life. Lifestyle for me is super important. Ahead of money, I could potentially have the time to go out and hustle harder, work harder, but for me, holidaying with my family, picking up my kids from school, spending time with my wife is more important than earning more and more money. So you do have to hustle, but I think when you get to a certain point where you can perhaps afford to take a day off or something, I think that's equally just as important. Again, there is a time for this. You're not going to be doing this kind of stuff when you're first starting out, but wake up and smell the roses at times. Hey guys, hope you liked this week's video. A little bit different to what I normally do, just trying something different out, seeing if I can give you guys some value. Let me know what you think in the comments or flick me a message. I appreciate everyone's support. Me and the family are heading off to Queenstown. Lucky enough to head off to Queenstown on Monday morning for I think about 10 days. Heading there with Elisa's, my wife's parents, and all the kids for Christmas, which should be really cool. So the next vlog will be a Queenstown vlog. Definitely one of my favourite places in the world. I think this is my 3rd or 4th visit. Playing some amazing golf courses, the Hills, Jacks Point, Millbrook Resort. So should be some really stunning footage that I should get. But yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. The next video I think will be in the new year. I hope you've liked this year's vlogs. It's been a very interesting journey, a real big learning curve for me to be on YouTube. I think it's been really good to push myself. And again, hopefully you guys have got some value out of the channel. We will continue pushing on through to 2026, and I'll give everyone an update in January. But thanks for watching. Merry Christmas. All the best.